The upcoming G.I. Joe Transformers crossover movie has a great opportunity to bring back the original Storm Shadow actor in the iconic role. Following several G.I. Joe movies across the decades finding mixed success, the franchise is in a delicate place. The next installment will need to be careful with how it handles the material. Fortunately, the promise of a crossover could be the best way to revitalize the series. The ending of Transformers: Rise of the Beasts teased a future film with G.I. Joe characters, although there has thus far been little movement on the new film. What the exact direction of the movie will be then remains to be seen. The upcoming crossover could serve as a reboot to the G.I. Joe series, but it would be better if they incorporated elements of what came before. Seeing Channing Tatum's Duke come back after being killed, or having Dwayne Johnson's Roadblock appear, could be great additions. One other South Korean actor, however, would be the best possible inclusion, especially now. Lee Byung-hun's Storm Shadow was one of the few good things about G.I. Joe movies. Retaliation especially gave Storm Shadow a more substantial arc. Some of Lee Byung-hun's most interesting movies saw the actor playing Storm Shadow. He appeared as the iconic white-clothed ninja in G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, as well as its sequel, G.I. Joe: Retaliation. While both of these films had a mixed response, Lee's turn as the villain, who slowly became an anti-hero, was mostly praised. Named Thomas Arashikage, the films gave significant focus to the relationship between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. The two shared a dark past, where Shadow was blamed for the death of Hardmaster by Snake Eyes. This murder is later revealed to have been by Zartan, but it creates an excellent tension between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. Throughout the films, this relationship is dissected, making it one of the most interesting aspects of the stories. Eventually, the two find a balance, and Storm Shadow is given the opportunity for revenge against Zartan. Following up on this relationship, and seeing a more heroic anti-hero version of the character, could be a great path forward. Audiences are rediscovering Lee Byung-hun's portrayal as Storm Shadow. That's thanks to Squid Game. Lee Byung-hun is a strong actor with many credits to his name, but the actor has recently found great popularity after his turn as the frontman in Netflix's record-breaking Squid Game. The series recently came to an end, which has driven many viewers to seek out other performances from Lee. In addition to providing a voice to the recent K-pop Demon Hunters, and appearing in blockbusters including The Magnificent Seven and Terminator Genesis, Lee is perhaps best known in Hollywood for his G.I. Joe role. Many audiences have been rediscovering the strengths of his excellent performance in those films. Could Lee Byung-hun return as Storm Shadow in a future G.I. Joe movie? It's complicated. There is certainly a possibility of Lee returning to the role, but there are several complications. First, the character has already been recast with Andrew Koji in G.I. Joe: Snake Eyes. Second, the status of a new G.I. Joe movie is uncertain, with there having been little movement on the Transformers crossover. More importantly, however, Lee may not wish to return to the role. He has struggled in Hollywood over the years. While Variety caught up with him early in his career, even then, Lee spoke about the difficulty and nerve surrounding work in the industry. Especially as a Korean actor, Lee has less incentive than ever to return to Hollywood work. There have been difficult experiences spoken about by many East Asian actors, and the opportunity for international products to break through is now much greater, especially after the success of Parasite and Squid Game. Lee may not feel the need to return to English-language stories. Transformers G.I. Joe movie is still the best opportunity for Lee Byung-hun's Storm Shadow return. Especially since Andrew Koji is moving forward with another big franchise. The story of the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover is not entirely clear about which G.I. Joe universe it will connect to. However, Andrew Koji is currently busy after his casting in Street Fighter, and the film might be best set up for success if it connects to the previous installments in the series, especially after the box office performance of Snake Eyes made less than 10% of what Retaliation earned at only $34 million. Audiences would be more likely to be familiar with the iterations from the previous films. Bringing back Lee could be a great way to connect the stories and follow up on the growth of his character. After Squid Game, Lee will certainly have his pick of projects. However, as it stands, the actor appears to be available for a franchise role like this. Bringing him back as the character, and allowing Storm Shadow to play a larger, more central role in the new crossover film could be the most appealing option. Doing this would allow the franchise to continue to build on one of its most iconic and developed characters, while fleshing out the larger universe. Putting these figures alongside characters from the Transformers universe, including Noah Diaz, could be a great way to start. Lee Byung-hun would be among the most exciting potential additions to the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover movie.